I want to start this review off by asking everybody a simple question. Was that so difficult? Look at how easy WWE told a story on SmackDown Live tonight. You think I want to come on here every single week and rant, rave, bitch, moan, complain about what we are not getting on television when what we got on television is all I ever want? Any given week, it's all I ever want. Tonight was by far and away the best SmackDown Live episode of 2018. Nothing comes even close to what we got tonight. Look at the fucking stories that they told in this gauntlet match tonight, which, by the way, WWE is killing it with the gauntlet matches. I don't know what they're doing, but every time there's a gauntlet match, expect it to be a great fucking episode. Look at the stories that they told in that gauntlet match alone on SmackDown Live. Biggie, just doing what he did with Daniel Bryan in that ring, showed you that when and if he needs to break away from the New Day, with or without the pancakes, which I still don't know where the fuck that gimmick came from, Biggie, if and when he breaks away from the New Day, he will be perfectly okay, man. The New Day, Woods, Kingston, and Biggie are criminally underrated. Criminally underrated. You know, a lot of people see them for flapjack flinging, cereal tossing fucking clowns. But my God, when they get down to business, it's like, who the fuck are these guys, man? I didn't know they could do that. But they are criminally underrated, man. Daniel Bryan, the Iron Man in this thing. Mr. Asterisk, because I don't really consider the greatest Royal Rumble a Royal Rumble. It's the greatest Royal Rumble, but it's not really a Royal Rumble. That takes place in January. But whatever the case may be, Daniel Bryan apparently has the Royal Rumble record for longest time within a Royal Rumble. Iron Man, Daniel Bryan. He's in there. He draws number one. He's got to go through Big E and Samoa Joe. And it just goes to show you how great Daniel Bryan is and what he will do and what he is not afraid to do to get back what he never lost, which was the WWE Championship. Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is so obsessed with success that he beat himself tonight. He beat himself tonight because he got cocky and he did not anticipate Daniel Bryan outsmarting him in that moment in which he did. Then you got The Miz. The Miz and Daniel Bryan. The Miz playing the ultimate opportunist tonight. I don't know where the fuck the Bludgeon Brothers came from, but I have my theories, and I hope I'm completely wrong on them, but the Bludgeon Brothers took out Daniel Bryan tonight, which helped The Miz pin Daniel Bryan. And the way The Miz disposed of Daniel Bryan, you know this is going to be a mere step one in their build and their program for whatever they got going on between themselves. And then Rusev Day. It is officially fucking Rusev Day, and we can finally celebrate on Rusev Day with a crowning achievement. I think we're living in fucking bizarro world. What happened to WWE Creative tonight? Rusev is the number one contender for the WWE title. We got the best episode of SmackDown Live all year. Did they get some sleep? Did they stop and put the glue down? Did they not sniff their glue today? I don't know what the fuck happened. Was Vince McMahon all of a sudden not there? What happened? This is all I ask for. This is all I ask for. Simple storytelling. And look at the 2-hour format. Look at how the 2-hour format benefits the quality of a show. I don't need to reiterate myself every fucking week. It's right in front of you. 3 hours of Raw. Trash. Trash. If you look at hour 1 on Monday Night Raw last night, if that was the entire show for Monday Night Raw, it would have been a quality show. You add the second and third hour and you give me nothing but fucking garbage. Look at what it does to the quality of the show. But then look at what WWE did here. The entire second half of this show was taken up by the gauntlet match. You gave me some good shit with the Usos' insanity. You gave me a decent tag team title match. I wasn't even annoyed that much by Carmella tonight. I don't know what the fuck they did, but they won me over. And they get a round of applause from me, man. This was the best episode of SmackDown Live all year. This is not a victory. This doesn't mean SmackDown Live is back to the glory days of late 2016. We're not on a winning streak yet, folks. When we get shows like this 3, 4, 5 times in a row, then I'll come on here and say, guys, we're on a winning streak on Tuesday nights. This is just a step one. I don't know why they can put on a show like this and not continue it. I don't know why we weren't given shows like this all year. Since the shakeup. Look at how simple it is. Get your fucking heads together and give me quality programming. That's all I ask for. Great fucking show tonight, man. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to go. Before we get into the news and the review, I have one thing I want to say. Actually, 2 things I want to say before we get to the review. Number 1, I did upload an Off the Script, not extra. It was actually legitimate part 3 of Off the Script from this weekend because I was just flustered with all the Money in the Bank news coming out of Chicago and then with TakeOver on Saturday night. So a very rare Off the Script part 3 to round out the fucking show this weekend today. And believe me, it's a story that you guys are going to want to hear my view on. Charles Robinson, senior WWE referee, blasts the fans in Chicago as being disrespectful to Jinder Mahal. Poor Jinder and poor Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. I give you my best behind that topic. Please go and check it out, plus a bunch of other stories that fill the rest of Off the Script for today. I wish I had time to do a video today, but I did not. I was out running errands. So we had major news today coming from the SmackDown front as far as their roster goes. We are now -1 on the SmackDown roster. Big Cass is no longer with the WWE. He was immediately released before SmackDown Live tonight. We don't know why. All I know is 2 things. Number 1, he had his best match ever with Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank. But he was tapped out for a second straight pay-per-view. That probably didn't bode well in itself coming out of the pay-per-view on Sunday. Number 2, we have news, and the only piece of information on it before more is uncovered this week, which I'll probably get by the time we get to episode 227 of Off the Script this weekend. The only news that I got about Big Cass is that Vince McMahon held a staff meeting before SmackDown Live tonight and fired Big Cass tonight. I don't know what happened, but WWE did not wish William Morrissey, Big Cass, his best in his future endeavors. I don't know what happened. He might have pissed somebody off. He might have crossed the boss. It might very well have to do with what happened with that Daniel Bryan incident, that little Daniel Bryan midget that Big Cass beat up, and he went off the script when Vince McMahon and management told him not to. They told him to follow the script, and Big Cass went into business for himself. Whatever the reason is, I do not know. I will hopefully have something for you in the coming days. My thoughts on it, you guys want my real thoughts on it. I don't ever want to see anybody fired. I don't want to see anybody lose their job. It's very heartbreaking. I know because I've been there. I'm sure many of you have gone through the same thing as well. But I'm being a realist with you. Big Cass was a product of terrible WWE creative. Big Cass was a product of terrible booking. Big Cass was a product of a company that did not know what the fuck they were doing. He was a product of a company that 99% of the time, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Big Cass and Enzo Amore should have never been broken up as a tag team. Never. They were the hottest tag team in NXT. They were the hottest tag team in WWE once they were brought to Monday Night Raw to feud with the Dudleys. That is a fact. The fact that WWE wanted to break these two guys up for whatever reason, whether it's they wanted Big Cass to go solo, whether it's they had this infatuation that Enzo Amore was going to save the Cruiserweight division in that fucking disaster. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were putting Enzo Amore in the Cruiserweight division, and they were putting all their weight on him to save a division that you fucked up in the beginning. It didn't need to be saved. The fucking foundation and the blueprint for it was fucking given to you coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. It's your fault that you fucked that up, and it's your fault that it failed with Enzo being there. You want to break them up? For what? Enzo was going nowhere as a solo act. Then we got Big Cass. Where was Big Cass going to go as a solo act? He's green as fuck in the ring. He can't cut a promo. His body language is terrible. I could go on and on about why this guy didn't cut it as a single star in WWE. But that doesn't give them a reason to cut him. If WWE is cutting a 7-foot-tall giant, then there's got to be a reason for his behavior backstage. And we don't know that yet. But Big Cass is a product of miserable WWE creative. Miserable. Both of these guys were, and they sank to the bottom of the ocean. WWE should have never broken them up. Ever. At least not yet anyway. I'm not saying they got to be a tag team for the duration of their career, but to break Big Cass away from Enzo, for what? For what? They were more valuable, and I say this about many, and it's proven to be right again. They are more valuable together than they are apart. Enzo complimented Cass. Cass complimented Enzo. Why would you destroy something that is working? The fact that they didn't receive a tag team title reign goes to show you that many that come up from NXT are purposely destroyed. Purposely destroyed. Sticking on the realistic front, I'm going to reiterate this again just in case anybody wants to fucking misconstrue the words that are coming out of my mouth. I don't want anybody to ever lose their job or get fired. I don't know how in love Big Cass is with this business. I don't. Nobody does except for him. Do I feel bad for him? Yes, I do. Because he was put in a situation in which they just let him sink without any help. They literally threw him to the wolves. On top of that, there were reports that Carmella left him. Because Carmella and Big Cass were living together, and they were an item. A couple. Are you going to realize when we get through SummerSlam, oh, Big Cass is not on the roster? No. A lot of people feel the same way I did about Big Cass. That doesn't mean I would want him to lose his job, but not even SummerSlam. By the time we get through June and finish this month out, are you going to realize that, oh, Big Cass is missing on SmackDown Live? Where's Big Cass? No, you're not. You're not even going to realize he's gone. And if you do, you're completely bullshitting me and yourself. Nobody's going to realize that this guy is missing. What does that say about Big Cass? Again, I don't know how in love he is with this business. He's 25, 26 years old. If he loves this business, he will go somewhere and continue training vigorously to get better. The door is never closed in the world of professional wrestling. You think this may be the last time we ever see Big Cass in a WWE ring? Probably not. Because if he goes somewhere and he develops a following for himself and he gets better than what we were unfortunately forced to watch, you know WWE is going to be knocking on his door once again. And who the fuck knows? By the time September rolls around, we may be seeing Enzo and Cass utter the two words that WWE doesn't want anybody to utter. All in. If they want to make some money, and if they want to cause some fucking controversy, they mend that friendship, and they show up in Chicago at All In with the Young Bucks and the Elite. I'm just throwing it out there. Speaking of Enzo, he threw some fucking shade immediately on social media. The first thing out of his mouth when WWE's Twitter account just threw it out there that they were releasing Big Cass, the first thing Enzo tweeted out almost minutes after it happened was hashtag how you doing. If that ain't fucking shade, I don't know what the fuck is. He went on to say something that he's living his best life. I don't know what happened between those two, but whatever the case may be, I wish Big Cass the best in his future endeavors. I know a lot of people that I talk to were big on Big Cass, that they've seen a lot of potential in Big Cass. He's 26 years old. If he loves this business, like I said, he's going to go and continue his training. He's going to make a name for himself on the independent scene. He's going to continue doing what he's doing. He's going to get better, and the door will remain open for a return. But we don't even know that much because we don't know why WWE didn't wish him the best in his future endeavors. That's all I have to say about Big Cass. Do I feel bad? Yes. I never want to see anybody lose their job, but are you going to realize that Big Cass isn't on the roster? Are you going to be wondering where Big Cass is? Are you even going to realize that he's not there? If you do, you're bullshitting yourself. You really are. You know, he's 7 foot tall. You can't teach that. But I guess WWE taught him a lesson in unemployment. Moving on, man. I want to talk about this gauntlet match. Jesus Christ. What a fucking main event for SmackDown Live tonight, man. Daniel Bryan, I said it, and it was all I was thinking. Actually, I was thinking two things. Number one, that power slam by Samoa Joe tonight made me fucking cringe more than I have cringed before in a match this year. That was fucking scary. That power slam from Samoa Joe, man, dropped Bryan on his head. You know where he is at this moment. He's getting concussion tests from WWE medical assistants, man. That was brutal. I hope he's okay. But with Daniel Bryan, man, the guy is incredibly over. The guy is fucking amazing. He looks better now than I think he was 4 years ago. If the guy can remain healthy, if the guy can show WWE he can be healthy, there is absolutely no reason to make this guy the man and give him everything he needs to be the face of this company. That is your man right there. It ain't Reigns. It ain't Styles. It's not Cena anymore. It ain't anybody in NXT. It's not Kenny Omega. Though Kenny Omega's probably a distant second if you're talking about coming on into the WWE and being the man, because I think he has everything it takes to be the man. But if you're looking at within the WWE, if you want to promote somebody from within, it ain't Roman Reigns. It never was. It never will be. It's Daniel Bryan. That is becoming more and more evident each and every time this guy steps in the ring. We don't know about his contract. We don't know about his contract situation. Someone told me that he was officially announced for that Super Show in Australia that WWE is doing in October. Now, card is subject to change, but we'll see what happens with that. I haven't heard anything on the Daniel Bryan contract situation. They would be foolish not to give this guy what he wants. Otherwise, he's going to be in New Japan, and you're going to find fucking Daniel Bryan wrestling Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. I'm sorry. WWE does not want that, especially with New Japan making waves in the United States and them coming to the United States. You don't want Daniel Bryan leading the charge with Kenny Omega, man. That's going to seriously give Vince McMahon fucking nightmares. I'm telling you right now, they do not want that, so you give him whatever the fuck you want. Okay? You don't want to see Bryan versus Omega making waves. You don't want to see Bryan versus Okada. You don't want to see Bryan versus anybody over there. Ospreay. Fuck out of here, man. You know how many fucking dream matches that guy can produce over there? You give this guy what he wants, no questions asked, and you make him the man if he can stay healthy. For some reason, I didn't understand what they were doing. I thought WWE kind of jumped the gun, or they wanted to get right to the main event. The Bludgeon Brothers had a very good match with the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, tonight. Before they even walked the aisle to go to the back after beating Gallows and Anderson, you got Harper and Rowan walking up the aisle, and Daniel Bryan cuts in between them. His music's going off. He's doing the yes thing down the aisle. Music stops, and they both look at him as if they want to fucking kill him. I didn't think anything of it, and I was like, okay. You know, it was just one of them quick things that WWE wanted to get right into the main event. Daniel Bryan beats Biggie in a great match. He beats Samoa Joe, which I marked out at the ending of that Samoa Joe match tonight because it looks like WWE had their fucking heads in the right places tonight. They didn't beat Samoa Joe. They didn't pin Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe beat himself. Samoa Joe got counted out because he put the coquina clutch on Daniel Bryan on the outside. He was waiting for the referee to make the count. 6, 7, 8. He was going to release the hold, but Daniel Bryan got out of the hold, and he knocked Joe to the side. He knocked him out, and Joe couldn't make the 10 count. Meanwhile, Daniel Bryan slid right into the ring, and Joe got counted out. Joe did not get his shoulders pinned, but he lost anyway. That is a great way to keep Samoa Joe looking for revenge and looking like a monster because you didn't pin him. That was great booking by WWE Creative. But the Bludgeon Brothers all of a sudden come in and powerbomb Daniel Bryan. Out comes The Miz. The Miz does a skull-crushing finale. Daniel Bryan's eliminated after 2 great matches with Joe and Biggie. So Joe and Big E were pretty much the Reigns and Cena that Rollins had to go through. So Rollins and Bryan, 2 in the same tonight for the gauntlet match on SmackDown Live. But I'm questioning what is going on here. I don't know what is happening with Daniel Bryan now. Why is he feuding with the Bludgeon Brothers all of a sudden? And this is what gets me agitated and angry. The WWE Tag Team division on SmackDown Live is fucking loaded. We haven't seen Sheamus and Cesaro in a couple weeks. They got the New Day, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Usos, Sanity. They got some quality fucking teams over there on SmackDown Live. How you don't have a fucking competitive division on a weekly basis angers the shit out of me. And WWE has not given you a competitive division. They've dumbed down the division. They have not used certain teams in weeks. And they really have treated the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships like a fucking afterthought. Whose fault is that? That's WWE Creative's fault. Now all of a sudden the Bludgeon Brothers are feuding with the number 1 face on the main roster in Daniel Bryan. For what? For what? They have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Or is this WWE's way to revitalize the tag team division because they don't trust anybody else in the division? And is this their way to revitalize a dead division because of them fucking it up? It's their fault it's fucked up. Now you're going to rely on Daniel Bryan to all of a sudden fix the fucking mistake that you initially caused? I don't like that whatsoever, man. Daniel Bryan should be in the hunt for the WWE title. He shouldn't even be bothering with the tag team titles if this is the direction that they're going. Your next question is, JD, who does he team with? There's only one guy that I can think of, and that's Randy Orton. God forbid it's fucking Kane. I don't want to hear no team, hell no. We're not going backwards. That's fucking 10 steps backwards. We don't need that. Bryan should be here. That would put him here. Randy Orton makes sense because he has a history with the Wyatt family. Harper and Rowan. Maybe we could get rated YKO for yes, KO. And then we can get a heel turn for Randy Orton and he can feud with Daniel Bryan. It's like we'll be going back to 4 or 5 years ago just with that. And them feuding. Because they had a little fucking back and forth when Orton was affiliated with the Authority. And he was fucking over Bryan at SummerSlam. So I don't know what's going on with that, man. That's the only thing that I can conjure up at this time. It really doesn't make any sense. But listen, I'm not complaining. I don't want Bryan in the tag team division going after the titles. Maybe they're using Bryan as a way to get the Bludgeon Brothers over because they weren't really going anywhere. They just felt flat. They felt stagnant. I don't really know. I hope this is merely just a one-off. I hope this is just in the interim. But I don't know what's going on. You know, it's a good show when we have a lot more questions than answers. So if this is going to be leading us into watching next week, then I'm all for it. You know, the best wrestling shows are the ones with the most questions. What's going on? You know, why is this happening? So this is one of those moments. I just don't understand it right now, and it's completely... It's not that I don't like it. It's just completely out of left field. Because Bryan can feud with anybody. He can feud with Joe after tonight. Joe's probably going to be looking for revenge. Bryan and The Miz, for sure. You know, Bryan could have his sights on AJ Styles eventually. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, it just literally came out of left field, and there's really no backstory to it outside of Randy Orton, who does have a backstory with Luke Harper, who is now transformed into a Bludgeon Brother. So we'll see what happens next week. You know, Randy Orton, he is on hiatus right now. I don't know where he is. I think he's just healing up some injuries. WWE is probably going to have all hands on deck for SummerSlam. It would not surprise me if WWE does Bryan and Orton versus the Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that gauntlet match was great, man. Rusev ends up winning after the Bludgeon Brothers took out Daniel Bryan. Miz came in. He cleaned up the mess. He beats Bryan, tosses Bryan out. Rusev gets the accolade in the end on Miz, and he is the #1 contender for the WWE Championship, man. This is a moment that social media is going crazy for, man. People are legitimately happy. I hope WWE is looking at their social media interaction tonight to see how happy people are that one of the guys that they feel should be more deserving of a push got one tonight, and now everybody is excited. This is what we're excited for. This is what we want to see. We want to see the people we want to see. Enough of giving us people that aren't working and aren't in the interest of the audience, aka Roman Reigns. This is great stuff. I'm excited for Extreme Rules, just based on what we've seen tonight. AJ Styles comes out, he shakes Rusev's hand. I don't know what they're going for here. It was bad enough that I had to read reports that they wanted to end Rusev Day. Rusev Day ain't dead by any means. But they got Rusev in there with an ultimate heel in The Miz. So Rusev was pretty much playing a babyface. They're going to continue playing that babyface aspect, and all of a sudden, AJ may be the one to turn Rusev here. I don't know what's going on. But Rusev is not going to be Mr. Nice Guy going into Extreme Rules. You're not going to have babyface AJ versus babyface Rusev. Rusev's going to turn the switch, and we're going to get Rusev and AJ Styles feuding heel babyface for the WWE Championship going into Extreme Rules. Will this be an interim feud? Probably. I don't see AJ Styles losing the WWE title to Rusev. So it's probably just something to get us through Extreme Rules, and then we'll get something major, I hope, for SummerSlam. But that was a great gauntlet match tonight. A lot of exciting stuff came out of that. A lot of great stuff to think about with a lot of those guys in there tonight. Just a great match. And congratulations to Rusev, man. That was definitely a surprise. And I'm just concerned about Daniel Bryan, man. Hopefully they treat this guy right and they don't straddle him in the tag team division after WWE seemingly killed that and have to rely on Daniel Bryan to kind of bring it back up to where it once was. I hope that's not the case, and we'll find out more soon enough. Speaking of the Tag Team Championships, man, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, and the Bludgeon Brothers had a very good tag team match tonight. Crowd seemed into it. It was much better than what we got on the Money in the Bank pre-show, but in the end, the Bludgeon Brothers win, and that should automatically just move the Good Brothers to the side. They lost twice now. There's no reason for them to get another tag team title match. Paige was gracious enough to give them another opportunity, and they lost. They failed. The Bludgeon Brothers have bigger and better things to concern themselves with tonight after attacking Daniel Bryan. Sanity made their debut tonight. Finally, Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Eric Young. This is going to be great, man. I love Sanity. I thought they were great in NXT. And I thought feuding them with the Usos is perfect for a first match here on SmackDown Live. Now, looking at the graphic, the Usos versus Sanity, you're looking at it, I'm like, this is going to be great. What are they going to do here? We didn't even get an actual match. Sanity is here to cause chaos. They didn't give a shit about having a match. They destroyed the Usos the only way that they know how. Killian Dane with a Vader bomb, and then Eric Young, I believe it was on Jimmy Uso with Alexander Wolf with that neck breaker finishing move that Eric Young does off the second rope. They just caused carnage there. They beat down the Usos, and they stood tall. SmackDown Live commentators were hyping them up. They looked great. They looked happy to be there. Finally, Sanity is on SmackDown Live. Imagine you add Nikki Cross to this situation, and you make Sanity a foursome like they were in NXT. Imagine you add Naomi to this. Then you got some fucking blood rivalry going on here, man. Naomi and Nikki Cross feuding. Then you got Sanity feuding with the Usos. That could be a war going into Extreme Rules and into SummerSlam, man. And out of that, you could find out who the #1 contenders for the tag team titles are. So I'm enjoying that, man. I hope they got some plans for Sanity, because those three guys are very good together, especially Killian Dane. Killian Dane's the most talented of the three, for sure. Eric Young should be a good handyman on SmackDown Live. Alexander Wolf complements both of those guys, no matter what combination that they're using. If the New Day can use the Freebird rule, then the same better apply for Sanity. I want to see combinations of Young and Dane, Young and Wolf, Wolf and Dane. I want to see combinations, man. I want to see them throw off their opponents just like the New Day do. But this was a great debut for Sanity. Very simple. It was effective, and they didn't give away too much. Everybody thought we were getting a match. Clearly, this is going to be a major program for Sanity on SmackDown Live with the Usos. We got Carmella and Asuka with the returning James Ellsworth. Carmella was out to celebrate her victory. Clearly, she went on and on and on about how she's beaten Charlotte twice in a row and how she now beat Asuka. Carmella talks about how she had self-esteem issues when she was younger, but she was determined not to let them keep her down. She saw something in herself before anyone else. She just started talking in a very sensitive, melancholy voice, and then all of a sudden she breaks out the Mella is money, and everybody's a piece of shit, and, she's just psyching the crowd out. So she brags about cashing in her Money in the Bank briefcase to become champion. It reminds us again how she beat Charlotte twice and how she beat Asuka at Money in the Bank with no help. So she goes on and on and on, and all of a sudden James Ellsworth comes out with Asuka's theme music, dressed in Asuka's robe, in Asuka's mask. He comes out and he proclaims that he has returned to SmackDown Live. He enters the ring, takes off everything. They start laughing together. Ellsworth says that no one was ready for him, especially Asuka. Ellsworth tells the crowd to shut their mouths because he has something special to say to his princess. He messes up a line about loving someone and says that it doesn't matter because what's important is that he's back and he's here to serve Carmella from here on out. He says that she's better than everyone, better than Flair, WWE Hall of Famers Lita, Trish Stratus, Mother Teresa, Beyonce, Ronda Rousey, and last but certainly least, he says she's better than Asuka. So Asuka's music goes off again, and Asuka comes out. No smiles, no robe, no mask. She runs to the ring, or power walks to the ring rather, and she's there to fucking knock someone's teeth down their throat. So Ellsworth gets in her face. Ellsworth saying, go back to the locker room, you're not wanted here, starts blabbing on her. He gets kicked in the stomach. Carmella, from behind, standing behind Ellsworth, super kicks Asuka and lays her out. She immediately runs away with Ellsworth, and they escape Asuka's wrath once again. And it looks like they're setting this up for Extreme Rules once again. Hopefully by then, Asuka is the women's champion, and we can get a legitimate woman as SmackDown Live women's champion on Tuesday nights. But I really wasn't all that annoyed with Carmella tonight, because I do believe that Asuka is going to get the best of them, and James Ellsworth right now is just there in the interim. We don't know how long he's there. We don't know if he's back full time. We don't know anything yet. But it was a decent segment that was effective, and it further developed the frustration on Asuka and Carmella. Now, during my afternoon, I watched Asuka and Ember Moon take over Brooklyn again last year, because I missed the days of Asuka when she was just unbeatable. What happened to Asuka? She felt special only a year ago. She somewhat felt special on Monday Night Raw before she had her match with Charlotte. She don't really feel that special anymore. WWE needs to make it a priority that Asuka is going to be special for the remainder of the year. A lot of people have talked about coming out of Money in the Bank that Vince McMahon is not going to give, especially my best friend Pete. I got to shout him out on this because he's been telling me this for a long time. Japanese superstars will never hold WWE Championship gold. With Nakamura, that may be the case. But with Asuka, I just don't see it. I don't know how you can have this woman have a fucking title reign like she had at NXT and then not give her championship gold on the main roster. It's ridiculous. You could say the same thing about Nakamura too, but, I see Vince McMahon kind of just screwing Nakamura over and not giving him the WWE Championship reign. He should have had one, and he was bypassed for Jinder Mahal, but there's no way I could watch this show and not see Asuka as a women's champion. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I think Asuka is going to win the championship from Carmella, and I think that's going to be the end result for this feud. We had another women's match on this show. It was Becky Lynch versus Billie Kay. Billie Kay went for a suplex towards the end of this thing. Becky rolls her up. Becky goes into the disarm her almost immediately, and Billie Kay taps very quickly for a submission finish here. Becky Lynch wins. Looks like Becky Lynch is gaining some momentum, but it's up to WWE to do something with that momentum. So hopefully Becky Lynch is going to be treated well going into the summer months, and hopefully we see Asuka and Becky feud over the Women's Championship in a rightful women's feud on SmackDown Live. One other thing before I get the hell out of here, man. Shinsuke Nakamura, he may have gotten title shot after title shot after title shot against AJ Styles. Now, all of a sudden, WWE sneakily gave you a Jeff Hardy promo in which he is disgusted and frustrated and upset about what Nakamura did to him just a week ago. So it looks like we are getting Jeff Hardy in full-on face paint, old school Hardy, defending the United States Championship in a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura cut a great promo, very well could be the best promo the guy has ever cut, man. His English was spot on. His interactions and chemistry with Renee is fantastic. And he said that if Jeff Hardy, wants a fight, he's going to give him a fight. Jeff Hardy mentioned that he sees Nakamura. And Nakamura pretty much said that, listen, I'm standing right here and I see you. So it should be great, man. I definitely want to see more of what those guys told a week ago in the ring. Nakamura might not be right for the WWE title right now, but him as the United States Champion, as a heel, I think that could be very good for the mid-card on SmackDown Live. The only thing I don't understand is this guy just got out of a WWE Championship feud. To place him right in a United States Championship feud, pretty much bypassing everybody else that could have had an opportunity. You go from one championship to the other with no rhyme or reason. Doesn't really make sense, man. It's, shit like that, logic gaps like that are just questionable to me. Where the fuck is Almas? We haven't seen Andrade Cien Almas. We had a match booked with Sin Cara 2 weeks ago, and now he's been missing for 2 weeks. Hopefully that is not the case next week, and we get some Almas next week on SmackDown Live, which the majority of the show was taken up by that gauntlet match, which I understand, but, I hope WWE doesn't do with Almas like they're doing with AOP. But this was a great episode of SmackDown Live, man. This was a fantastic episode. This was the best episode of the year, bar none. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you missed off the script, today, a rare episode, 226 Part 3 to finish out the weekend. Go and check it out. Charles Robinson says Chicago disrespected Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. I give you my take on that, plus a bunch of other news and rumors to round out the weekend. That is down in the description and in the annotation that you see within the video. Go and check it out. And everything else that you might have missed Money in the Bank weekend will be there as well. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We got NXT tomorrow. I might not be reviewing the show because from what I was told from people that were in the arena for TakeOver, the matches are nothing to review. So I'm thinking I'm going to give you a mini off-the-script extra tomorrow full of nothing but NXT news. How do you like that one? So you guys might have that a little bit early for your Wednesday evenings tomorrow night. Look forward to that. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you for everything. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow for NXT, where we talk about all the rumors and news coming out of NXT TakeOver Chicago. I'll talk to you guys later.